Hey everyone. Speaking to a lot of customers lately, and one of the biggest themes is too many candidates applying for jobs. And it's making it really difficult for organizations to really focus and find great candidates because they have to go through candidates who've applied who may not have anything aligned with the role that is being promoted. So in these conversations, we're talking about, ways to filter, ways to find the great candidates after everyone's applied. But one thing that doesn't really come up that often with these conversations that I'm having with recruiters is, well, how do we start to fix the problem before they even apply for the job, right? If we're so worried about the volume in the top of the funnel, well, is there anything that we can do to control that so we're just getting the more, let's say, the more appropriate candidates to apply for the role? So because I've been having this conversation with a lot of recruiters and a lot of our customers, I wanted to highlight some of the tools and features that Recruit, our ATS, has that can really help you begin to solve the problem, let's say before the problem even begins, right? Of waking up Tuesday morning after you posted a job Monday afternoon, and all of a sudden you see 400 people have applied to your job that you've published. So when we think about the different ways that we have candidates apply, we think of job boards, we think of external recruiters or staffing agencies, we think of referrals from employees, we think of posting on social. What I want to focus on today are two of them that have a tremendous impact and that you do have a fair amount of control over. And one would be the referral, the other would be job boards. Now, when we're dealing with external recruiters and sourcing, and they're only going to be sending you candidates that they think are good for the role, otherwise they wouldn't be doing their job well. So I also don't want to talk about that today. So let's dive in and let's focus first on referrals. Now, we know all the studies show how beneficial referrals are. They result in hires at a 30% better rate, and they go through the workflow and get hired 50% faster than non-referred candidates. So these are dramatic improvements that not just have an impact in getting someone hired, but it helps you free up your time more so you could focus on other critical tasks, and it impacts the bottom line of the company. If we're getting people in faster, if these referrals are better candidates, then this is something that we can accomplish quickly and get that person to work as soon as possible. All right, so how are we going to do this? What we want to do is we want to build a referral program. Now, when we build a referral program, what we want to think is, what's my critical point of building that referral program? What we usually see is, you can always reach out to employees, send emails, ask for referrals, but where we want to make this a little bit more systematic is going to be at about the 50 to 80 employee mark. So when we go in, I'm going to go into my settings, and you'll see here, referral program. Right from here, I could start to customize that referral program. So I can make it no bonus or create a bonus and say for every job out there, that candidate, that employee is going to get $2,500. Now, you can customize this per role. I'll show you that as well, but just using this as a starting point. Then all I have to do is save it. Once it's saved, I'm all set. And now I can start promoting it out. So I can send an email to my employees. I could put a link to the job on the career page. When I do that, and my employee goes to the career page or goes to the link to the specific job, you'll see here that it recognizes me as an employee. So what I'm going to be able to do is share this on social, get my shareable link. And what that means is when I publish this link, anyone who applies for the job, it's going to link that candidate back to me. So I don't have to reach out to the recruiter and say, hey, did you get Bill or Susie? Did they apply yet? Because I promoted this out and they said that they applied for the job. Also, you have the ability to submit somebody yourself as an employee. first name, last name, their resume, how you know them, other information, and then click submit. And once you submit that candidate, they're now in the pipeline. They're now going to be in the workflow. I want to go back to the ATS. Let's go back in. And what I want to do is I want to look at our referred candidates. And what you're going to see here is that they're tagged. Now, as a recruiter, it's really important to focus on these candidates. We want to prioritize them, which is why we tag them here to make it easy for you to spot them. You want to prioritize them because this is really going to have an impact on the employee. So if I refer a candidate and the recruiter doesn't carve out time and doesn't prioritize that candidate, I'm not going to refer anyone else. And it may impact my view of the organization or of the recruiting team. So as a recruiter, you really want to prioritize those candidates. So you'll see here, refer, it'll let me know who referred that candidate, so I know as well. All right. The other thing that you want to be mindful of is if you are out there requesting a lot of referrals, you want to see the volume that you're getting back. Now this is not so much about recruiting, but about the company and about the company culture. Because if you don't have employees willing to refer people they know, friends, coworkers, whoever it may be, even if you have a bonus if that person gets hired, it may say something about the company culture. Because these people may not want to refer employees or refer candidates to a company that they're not happy at themselves. So this will be a great litmus test as well to see how happy your employees are working at the organization. Okay. However, I want to go back to any role here. So let's say I'm looking for a sales executive and it is brutal. I'm not getting great resumes. Employees aren't referring enough candidates that are really having an impact. So I can make this a little bit more appealing to them. So on each and every job, I can change that bonus amount. So I can make this 5,000. Or if it's a job where we're going to get candidates easily anyway, then I'll set it to no bonus. We don't need to pay out. We got a ton of candidates as it is. But if you know of anybody good, great. Now, what's going to happen after these candidates are submitted, you are going to spend a lot of manual time updating employees or responding to their emails. How is this person doing? Did that person do well in their interview? When is this person's interview scheduled? And what we don't want to do is put in processes that create more manual work for the recruiter, which is what you're going to do if you're doing a referral program without Recruit. But what you can do is set it so that once employees start referring candidates, they can get emails sent automatically from the system, letting them know how their candidates are progressing through the workflow, and it'll even promote additional roles. Why is this great? Because you're now giving attention to the employee feels like they're up to date, and it's going to motivate them to want to refer even more of their former coworkers, friends, family, whoever it may be, for the role. So this is just a really great incentive for employees. All right, so we now have our referred candidates. A lot of them have been hired. Maybe a lot of them have been rejected. But what we know now is we've already started to improve that top of funnel, the candidates that are coming in. But how do we start to analyze this data? How do we get a look at it? And how do we send all this information over to our finance team when it's time to pay out bonuses? Again, we want to avoid manual work, right? That's not what we want to do. So what we can do instead is we just look at reports. So I'm going to click on referrals, and it's going to let me know all the referred candidates that have been hired, how many applications came in, which ones were compensated versus uncompensated, non-compensated. I could see my hiring trends. I could see all the application trends and just focus on the ones that were through compensated referrals. I could then see the summary and see what roles did we hire the most referred candidates from. I can also see what the source is, who's on the leaderboard, what employee is doing the best job of getting us candidates. And you can make this fun. You can share this with the employees as well. And then also we could just get a look at how effective our different rewards are. Interestingly enough, the best reward here is $500. I don't know what it is about that, but we're getting the most candidates in from referrals through that bonus. Okay, and then you'll see here applications through referrals. You'll see who's coming, what the source is, where they're sitting in the workflow. So if you feel like maybe you haven't been paying enough attention to the referred candidates, you could go right here and you can make them your focus. Okay, so that is our referred candidate. I want to focus now on our job boards. Now, there are a lot of job boards out there, and what you may be saying is, how do I find the best job boards? Now, realistically, what we're likely doing is we're posting on one or two job boards because there's a lot of manual work behind it, or we don't care about how much that time investment is, and we're posting jobs on every job board and then going to all those job boards and seeing who's applied. And that is a lot of work without knowing what the results are. So this, again, is something that could be automated, and then we can look at the data to see what job boards are working the best for us. So I'm going to go back to my profile. I'm going to click on settings, and I'm going to click on job boards, and you'll see all the different job boards that we connect with. You have the ability to set it for automatic. So as soon as you're ready to publish a job, it gets right there on the job board. Or you could do manual, which means you pick and choose when you want to post on those job boards. That may be relevant if you know which job boards, based on the type of role you're hiring for, give you the best candidate. So let's say you're looking for a plumber and you know that Indeed doesn't really bring in the best candidates there, then you may want to make this a manual setting because you don't want plumber roles automatically getting published there because you're going to get candidates that just won't really be a good fit for the role. But what this does is it gives you the ability to publish on a lot of job boards at once. And you may say, Adam, you started this conversation saying that my problem is too many candidates. Why in the world would I want to publish on as many job boards as possible? The reason why is because you now have the ability to look at how well these job boards are performing for you. And once you're looking at how well these job boards are performing for you, you now know which job boards to lean into for the specific roles that you're hiring for. So there may be a job board in here that you'd never had used before, but because we have the integration, you publish and all of a sudden you see you're getting great candidates. And again, because we now can strategically pick the job boards based on the role that we're hiring for to get us the best candidates, again, we are improving that top of funnel before we even start looking at resumes. So all of this information, the ability to automate, the ability to use data for job boards and for referrals is going to empower us to start getting better resumes, better fits before we even start looking at the people who've applied for the job. Now, what is the benefit of this? I mean, it's obvious, right? You're going to spend less time sifting through candidates that aren't the right fit for the role. You're going to have a better selection of candidates and candidates that you can save for later, right? So if you hire somebody, great, but now you have a better quality of candidates overall. You can put these candidates aside in the back pocket. So when another position opens up, you could bring them on board as well. And then for referrals, it's going to speed up your hiring process. It's going to lead to better employee satisfaction. It's going to give you a litmus test of the satisfaction with the organization, and it's going to impact your bottom line dramatically. Now, again, these are features I've shown you that are ultimately at no cost to you. Obviously, you bring in Recruit, but it's something that you could just do. Referrals, you can control how much you spend on it. And the job boards, there are a lot of free job boards out there where we will tell you what's giving you the best results. So if you are interested in getting a better quality of candidate at the top of that pipeline before you even start looking at resumes, let us know. Reach out to us. Love to show you how Spark Hires Recruit, how Spark Hires ATS can do that for you. Thank you.